Welcome to Barca News. It is September 3rd, 2025, and I have good and also bad news in regards to the Spotify Camp Nou. Also, Barcelona have registered Rooney Bardi, and that is great news. And finally, Barcelona made a late-minute signing before the market closed. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and I'm officially back home. I'm back from my vacation. I know I didn't make any videos yesterday. I was traveling. There was no way I could make any videos, but now I'm back home. This is why I'm bringing you this crazy live at a crazy time. This is not a podcast. This is just a short video to start, bringing you up to date on all Barcelona news since I wasn't able to post too many videos while I was on vacation. Today is the podcast at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so stay tuned. Make sure to watch it. And during the podcast, I will be addressing the comment section. Anyways, let's dive right into the news because, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, during the match with the Rayo Vallecano, it turned out that the VAR was not working during the first half. VAR was not working. There was a lot of backlash saying that it was somehow Barcelona's fault. I mean, first of all, the VAR is ran by the technical committee of referees under the Royal Spanish Football Federation supervision. It was an away match, so it was at Rayo Vallecano Stadium. But somehow, all the Madrid-based media outlets, they were blaming Barcelona. So now Barcelona are responsible for the VAR at a different stadium, which is ran by the Royal Spanish Football Federation. Anyways. I'm not even going to try to address that, explain that, justify that, because, this is the level of stupidity that we have reached. But anyways, the CTA, the Technical Committee of Referees, have explained on why was the match not stopped, because people were saying, the match should have been stopped since the VAR was not working. And this is the official statement by the Committee of Referees. Following the technical incident by the VAR systems technology provider, Mediaport reported in a press release after the Rayo Vallecano FC Barcelona match and outside the control of the Technical Committee of Referees. This committee recalls that the current regulations in the FIFA protocol stipulate that in these types of exceptional situation, the match must continue as usual without the VAR system activated, with both teams being informed of the situation beforehand. So there you have it, folks. This is not a conspiracy. People are saying, Barcelona paid the refs, Negreira, blah, blah, blah. That's why the VAR was turned off, and that's why the match kept on going, even though it was supposed to be stopped. Complete bullshit. The VAR system, which again is under the auspices of the CTA, is ran by the company Media Pro. The VAR did not work during the first half. The teams were notified, and per the rules, per FIFA regulations, if the VAR stops working, the match must continue. So if you see any of your friends or any idiotic people saying that this is somehow Barcelona, paying referees, whatever, tell them the FIFA rules require the match to keep on going. Anyways, on to the next bit of news, because we do have to talk about the Spotify Camp Nou, because I have bad and good news for you. Now, let's start with the bad news. Let's get the bad news out the way, and then we will talk about the good news. But the bad news is that the city of Barcelona, the city council, has informed the club that they will not be getting the permit. Now, as you know, Barcelona obtained the certificate of completion from the construction company Limac. The certificate says, hey, whatever needs to be built is done, is built. Please come inspect it. The city, Barcelona, submitted to the city the certificate. The city sent its inspectors to the stadium, and they found some interior damage from heavy rains. There was some heavy rains a few days ago. Parts of the stadium got flooded. That rain caused damage to the interior of the stadium. So the city council said, sorry, we still can't give you the permit to reopen until you fix that damage. So now Barcelona are going to have to fix all that damage, resubmit the certificate of completion or an annex to it detailing what the repairs were done. The city will once again send inspectors. They'll make sure everything is good, and if everything is good, they will issue the permit, which will allow Barcelona to reopen to the Camp Nou for Phase 1A, which will only include 27,000 people. Now, they're saying right now the deadlines are pretty tight. The club are hopeful that those deadlines will be able to be met by the September 14th match against Valencia, the first home match of the season. But if that doesn't happen, then Barcelona will have to play the match against Valencia at the Johan Cruyff Stadium. Now, we move on from the bad news to the good news. And the good news is that UEFA have officially approved the return of FC Barcelona to the Camp Nou during the group stages, no matter when. Now, as you know, UEFA rules state that whatever stadium you start the group stages at, you have to finish the group stages with. You cannot change stadiums during the group stages. But in the case of Barcelona, UEFA believe that they have an exception, and that exception is beyond their control because, they're building a new, well, technically, they're rebuilding their old stadium. The stadium, there's been construction delays. This is something outside of the hands of Barcelona. So they believe that the exception to the rule applies to Barcelona. So Barcelona will be able to return to the Camp Nou during the group stages at any point. So Barcelona are hoping to return by the second match of the group stages because, as you know, UEFA were kind enough to allow Barcelona to play the first match away. The second match of the group stages, which is against PSG, that will be a home match. If Barcelona's goal is to have the Camp Nou ready by then, if it's not ready and Barcelona have to play that Champions League against PSG somewhere else, Olympic Stadium, wherever, Barcelona would still be able to go back to the Camp Nou even though they didn't play their first home match at the Camp Nou. So this is definitely great news. UEFA really working with Barcelona to help us return to our stadium. Now, speaking of UEFA, Alexander Seferin, the president of UEFA, was interviewed and asked about what he thought about clubs playing matches outside of Europe. As you know, La Liga have gotten the green light from the Royal Spanish Football Federation to have the Barcelona versus Villarreal match in December played in Miami. The Serie A, they're trying to do the same thing, have a match between Milan and Como played in Australia. And this is what Seferin had to say. Of course, UEFA have to approve this, but this is what the president of UEFA had to say. We are not happy, but as much as we have checked legally, we do not have much room for maneuver if the federation agrees, and both federations agree too. But I think that looking ahead, we will have to discuss this very seriously because football should be played in Europe. Fans should watch it at home. They cannot travel to Australia or the United States to see their teams. We will also open the discussion with FIFA and all the federations because I don't think it's a good thing. If it's an exception, fine. If there's a reason, fine. But in principle, European teams should play in Europe because the fans who support them live in Europe. It's a great tradition. So, legally speaking, Stephanie saying that UEFA don't have the means to stop this. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna approve it because technically they could just decline it. But what he's saying is that they don't have the legal power to interfere and prevent clubs from doing that. Clubs could still try to do it. We'll see if UEFA approves this or not, but he makes it very clear that he doesn't like this, that European matches should be played in Europe, and I 100% agree. Of course, we'll see what UEFA ends up saying because, as you know, La Liga have greenlit it, Royal Spanish Football Federation have greenlit it, UEFA are next on the line to greenlight this match to be played in Miami. Now, more news. And ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot of you have asked me about Rooney Bardi, but he has been officially registered, but as a reserve team player. So as a Barca Athletic player, as you can see on your screen, that's the registration sheet for Barca Athletic. Of course, Barcelona were hoping to register him with the first team because even though he was a Barca Athletic signing, Barcelona signed him as a Barca Athletic signing with the idea that he would play with both Barca Athletic and the first team. But after the preseason, Rooney Bardi impressed Hansi Flick so much that Flick decided, no, this guy's going to be, a first-team player. Barcelona tried to register him with the first team. They couldn't clear enough space on the financial fair play, so they have now registered him as a Barca Athletic player. But, of course, the plan is for Flick to count on him, for Rooney to remain in first-team dynamic because Flick was very impressed during the preseason. We'll see if the Royal Spanish Football Federation of La Liga object to this because if they do, that would be pretty hypocritical because, as you know, Real Madrid, who signed Franco Mastantuono as a first-team player, he has been registered with Castilla. Case of Rooney Bardi, he's a Barca Athletic player that has been registered with Barca Athletic, but the plan is for him to play with the first team. Now, speaking of signings, ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona have made a late-minute signing before the market closed. They snatched yet another Espanyol Academy prodigy, whose name is Oriol Payas. You see him here on the picture. He's an 18-year-old midfielder. He's been a standout in the Espanyol Academy. In fact, he has captained several of their categories, or some of their categories. He is known as a midfielder with a good game reading ability and also good organizational skills in the midfield. And Barcelona have signed him from Espanyol's academy for the Juvenil A, or the under-19 youth team. This, of course, makes the fourth talent that Barcelona have rated from Espanyol's academy during this month, or during this summer, I should say. Before that, it was Paul Moncheno. And, of course, there's the two brothers. I'm blanking on their name. I think it's Lee. I can't remember, but the two Korean brothers. And now Oriol Payas, four standouts of the Espanyol Academy signed by Barcelona for Barcelona's academy. And, of course, don't forget Joan Garcia for the first team. So Espanyol must be really, really, really hating us right now. Anyways, we'll end this video with one bit of news, because one player that Barcelona did end up missing out during the summer transfer market is Eta Eyong, the 21-year-old center forward who was playing at Villarreal. He was a standout last season. Barcelona were eyeing him kind of like as a future bet, but it seems like he has decided to join Levante. Barcelona did not make any official offers for him. Levante did, and Levante have signed him for 3 million euros. And Villarreal are going to have, they've retained a first right of refusal, a buyback option, 50% sell-on clause, and they're saying Cadiz will earn 50% of the fees. So because Eta Young was at Cadiz first, moved to Villarreal, now he's at Levante. It was 3 million, so Cadiz will get 1.5, Villarreal will get 1.5. But the rumor is that most likely next summer Villarreal will buy him back. And since they buy him back, they're only gonna have to pay half of the price because they still own 50% of his rights. And when they buy him back, Cadiz will not have a percentage, so Villarreal will go back to owning him 100% and probably try to sell him for a higher price. So Barcelona missing out on this youngster. Hopefully they won't regret it, because I imagine next summer his price will be much, much, much higher. Anyways, that is all the news for this live. Again, I'm doing the podcast today, so stay tuned to the channel. I'm also going to be doing other videos because, of course, there's a lot of news to update you on since I didn't make any videos yesterday. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you at the podcast. And as always, Visca Barça.